So you want to excel at it all. You want to build a business that you love that gives you the freedom that you truly deserve. You want to do it in a way that actually not only makes a big impact in the world, but also like is able to help you to create the life that you want for your family. But you're also wanting to connect deeper with family, spend more quality time with them, go on more vacations, have that one-on-one time, while also making sure your health, your physical and mental health is a priority. But the truth is like with everything that's going on, with the demand on your time, the demand on your energy, it can be very frustrating because I've found that what most people do is when they want to achieve a dream like this, they want to achieve a life like this, they think that they have to sacrifice things while they're going through the season. And there's one thought that I've seen more times than not, having coached thousands of entrepreneurs and police officers and shift workers. And that is when you want to achieve more, you have to do more. But the truth is if you believe that you have to achieve more or have to do more in order to achieve more, you're on the wrong side of the equation. Because the truth is, it's not about how hard you work. Do you know people who work their tails off, but have nothing to show for it? Do you know people who work less than you, but somehow achieve more in the end? And it's because working hard is not the only answer. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't work hard. But working hard on the things that matter the most is truly what will be the game changer for you. Now, having worked, like I said, with thousands of entrepreneurs, we have found a way to be able to figure out what those right activities are. Not only the right activities, but we're going to talk to you about a framework that we use, not only in all of our programs, but to help ourselves to achieve more by actually doing less. So if you're someone who wants to get out of the rut of just doing the same things time after time, throwing more action and more energy and not seeing the results you truly want, well, let's go. It's time to redefine leadership. Welcome to Modern Leadership, where we see things differently. Our channel is all about empowering entrepreneurs like you to achieve the next level of success in business and life. We believe that you can create a massive impact in the world without compromising your personal life or family time to do so.
We're committed to providing you with actionable tips and strategies weekly to make that possible. So if you're ready to become a modern leader and make a lasting difference in the world, consider subscribing. Turn on notifications and dive into our community. We want to thank you for being here because the world needs your leadership now more than ever. Let's go.
So let's go. Welcome, everybody. I see some amazing faces that are here. Actually, I don't see any faces that are here. I see names popping up, but I'm super pumped to be here on the call with you guys. We have a lot of people. Cheryl just signed up for the Inner Circle. Welcome to the Inner Circle, Cheryl. We have so many powerful humans that are here. If you're brand new, we want to welcome you here to the channel and to this mission to build a business you love, connect deeper with your family, and to keep your physical and mental health, actually to get it into the best shape of your life, both physically and mentally. And how we do that is by showing up and really giving it our all. So today we're talking about like how to win at it all. But I want to start off in the beginning related to like why it's so hard to win at it all. I know we kind of talked a little bit about like this thought of like, if I want to be able to achieve more, I have to do more, and how that is not true. But just knowing that is not the solution, right? So I kind of want to throw it to you. Like, first off, hi, how are you doing? I really like the green, by the way.
Thanks.
Why do you think it's so hard to be able to win at it all?
Yeah, I mean, there's several different reasons, and I'm going to share a few of them, but most of the time it's because we have so many things going on all at once, right? And we think we have to do it all. And also, it also feels like we want to succeed, but we only have to pick one area and go all in with that. So we have to just like dive into that. And there's only one area of our life that we can really excel at. Another thing is it's hard, or we feel that it's hard to find people to help us because we feel like, well, we're not making enough money to actually hire somebody to help us, or they don't really know how to do certain things and we don't have time to teach people to do it because it just feels like it's going to be a waste of time, right? And then we feel like we just need to sacrifice. We just need to go through this hard right now because that's what we need to do. And that's the season of life that we're in. So those are some of the things that I have personally felt, but also some of the things that when I'm actually coaching someone, those are some of the things that pop up. And that's why it feels so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what you're kind of talking about right now is just the stories that we tell ourselves,
Mhm.
right? The stories that we give power to because we focus our time and attention on that we don't have
Right.
time. We don't have resources. We don't know how to get people to help us. We just have so much stuff. It needs to be all done right now.
Mhm.
Just like that whole philosophy of like, in order to achieve more, I have to do more, right?
Mhm.
But we've got a different way for you guys here today. We got a way that actually does work. And here's the thing, the opportunity that we have today is we're going to lay it all out for you. We're going to literally like pull the curtain back, give you an opportunity to see the things that we have actually found that have been not only the focus of our attention, but has helped us achieve more without having to do more.
Mhm.
Now, before we get any deeper, in case you guys don't know who we are, let's introduce ourselves. So, my name is Mark Hildebrand. This is my incredible wife, also co host of Modern Leadership, Teresa. I'm an ex LAPD sergeant who was struggling with all of the things that we're going to be talking about here. Teresa is an ex corporate in corporate America in the hospital area administration part of the hospital, and we have turned life and performance coaches. There we go, and have used all of the things that we're going to be talking about here today to do three actually 300 different things, but three really important things. Number one is we've been able to use the tools that we're going to share with you today to build a multiple six-figure business to allow me and Teresa to retire early so we could be home, spend more time with family, and make the bigger impact that we wanted to make.
Mhm.
Number two is it allowed us to spend more quality time with our kids, going on vacations every quarter, spending one-on-one time with them, doing the things that we really wanted to do while we didn't have the life of freedom that we wanted to have. And number three, we both have gotten into the best shape of our lives. I ended up being 100 pounds heavier than I am today. I lost 100 pounds. I've been able to keep it off now for about 12 years. And Teresa lost about 30 pounds and has been able to keep it off too. And what's crazy is like as we get older, we actually get healthier, not only when it comes to the health of our bodies, but also our mental health, as well as the
Mhm.
connection that we're having with our families. And so we are not special. Okay. I say all that just to make sure that you know that we are not special. We just look for principles. We look for items to lean into so that we can like lean into the potential that we have that's inside of us. And that's what we want to do for you guys here today. We want to break it down for you. Now, when you hear a lot of gurus, you're going to hear them talking about the one thing that you absolutely need to have. And when you have this one thing, it's just everything's going to be rainbows and unicorns and everything's going to work out well. Now, I do believe that a lot of people are serious when they say there's this one thing, but they've also accomplished 50 other things and learned 50 other skills and practiced 50 different things and read 3,000 different books, right? We have our Modern Leadership Book Club who's on here too. And they feel like, oh, but there's this one thing that really took off for me. And in reality, there actually wasn't one thing. There was a group of things that worked in synergy. And this one thing may have tipped them over, but getting them to, or getting you to believe that there's only one thing, that's where the flaw is because there's not only one thing.
Mhm.
Today, we're going to break down three different things. And it's kind of like three different focuses that we want you to be able to pay attention to. And you may be crushing it in one or two, or who knows, all three of these, right? And by the way, if you're crushing it all three, please reach out because I would like to hire you as my
Mm.
coach. But if you are like here and you're ready to lean in and you're ready to see which one of these will give you the greatest opportunity for growth, that's what we're here to do. We're not here to shame, guilt, humiliate you. Before today's call, you probably knew about none of these. All right. So knowing that you didn't know this beforehand, you cannot use that against yourself in the future. But what you can do is you can think about what's the opportunity that I have when I'm able to see things differently, like Mark and Teresa are teaching me, and be able to rise up to the potential that's inside of me because I want to be not only that role model for my kids, but for the world so that when they get older, they're like, I'm going to do what my mom and my dad did. And that's the opportunity we get when we're willing to see things differently, to see it from a different perspective. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So you ready to do that?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we're going to go into three different focuses here. Okay, three different focuses. And by the way, we are the founders of the Modern Leadership Inner Circle. I know we have a few people who are from the Inner Circle. Cheryl just signed up today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But when we think about like the things that we put together for our team, and really even with our one-on-one clients, especially with our one-on-one clients in our small group, which is called Success Pods, is we make sure that all three of these focuses are built into everything that we do. So as you move forward, I want you to think about this, yes, in terms of like how to excel and win it at all, but also how this applies in different areas of your life, including if you're working full-time like we were, or anything, because all of these are universal principles that you can carry with you anywhere that you're looking to grow. And I know you guys are here looking ready to grow, right? And I'm so proud of you for being willing to actually get here, to watch this video, to even get to this part of the training, because I know that you're hungry to grow and be better and do whatever you can to be the best leader in the world, right? And I'm proud of you for doing that. And because I know that you have that desire, I know you're gonna make it happen, all right? Now we're going to talk about focus number 1 first. All right. Now here's the thing. You're going to hear things a little bit different than what you would normally hear in the outside world, because I'm going to give it to you exactly what you need to hear. All right. I'm going to tell it in a way that maybe will be a little bit different than you've heard before. But remember, if we want something different, we have to
do something different.
We have to do something different. Step into that, right? We have to do something different. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do different, right? So focus number 1 is reprogramming your subconscious for success. What? What are you talking about, Mark? What are the steps in order for me to be able to achieve this, to lose the weight, to build a business? How can I do marketing? How can I do? You have to get really good at reprogramming your mind, the subconscious part of your mind, for success. Now, a lot of people will term this as mindset. The reason why I didn't say, hey guys, mindset, is because people are confused about what mindset really is. Actually was talking to a one-on-one client of mine who also is a coach, and she does training around like what mindset is, because people are like completely confused. They're like, oh, you just need a positive mindset. And what people don't really understand is that when you think about mindset, it is basically how you feel right now, is what most people think. Is like, how am I feeling in this moment? So if you're in front of Mark and Teresa and you like our energy and you're like, I love this, I want to create a business like this, I want to be able to connect with my family, you're going to feel incredible right now. But 6 hours after this, 3 days after this, a week after this, are you still going to have that same energy? That is the mindset that I'm talking about. I'm talking about you program your mind to feel the way that you feel in this moment right now, excited, like the potential of the opportunities of everything you're going to learn. But to do that so that you on autopilot have this kind of like overwhelming feeling that you're here for a reason and you're going to push through and you're going to find a way to make it happen. This is what I believe is the true version of mindset. It's the subconscious beliefs and thoughts that go through our mind that 99% of the time nobody even knows exists. They have no idea why they push the snooze button. They have no idea why they eat that certain food. They have no idea why they don't invest in a course, so they never get the opportunity of being in front of the people on stage that they want to, or making that impact in their business. They have no idea why they're not doing those things or taking those actions, because they're just thinking about what they consciously are thinking about instead of what's actually running the show. The show is being run right now on autopilot 95% of the time. 5% of the time, you're going to hear me talk. I'm going to say different things. It's going to change the way that you feel maybe sometimes, but that's the 5% that's actually not running the show. It's the things that you're conscious about. It's being able to dive in a couple levels deeper and figure out what is actually keeping you stuck or getting you to take action or getting you not to take action. Mm-hmm. An example of this is what I talked about earlier. A lot of people don't realize this, but they're pre-programming from the time they were a kid is, if I want to achieve more, I have to do more. And that might have helped in the beginning if you were doing nothing. Mm-hmm. But after you hit a certain point, there's a negative return on investment, meaning the more you do, the more you suck at everything else that you do, right? And so you're putting in all of this action and energy, and you're like, why is this not working? I've got to tell you, it's because we need to go in and reprogram your subconscious mind for success, not for overwhelm or burnout. We want to actually get in there and be able to unlock something that will have you taking the right actions and being in that right frame of mind. Now, there is one piece to this, all right? And I almost said caveat, but I knew Kurt was going to call me out on it. There's one more piece to this piece, all right? And that is, what I'm not saying is that you're going to feel great about everything that happens in your life all the time. Mm-hmm. In my life coach certification, I learned that life is 50-50. And this is what I teach all of the master coaches that I train. That means that 50% of your life is going to be positive, awesome things that are happening, and 50% are going to be negative, bad, quote unquote, things that are happening to you. It's how quickly you can see those bad things as opportunities, as ways of growing, of leaning into, and using those for you to actually empower you to make a change and to take action, versus going down the path of negativity and spiraling and staying there. That's typically what our subconscious mind will do. It's there because it wants to keep you safe. Anytime it can convince you that you need to work harder and you're like, well, I can't work harder because I'm not going to be able to see my family, then you're not going to be willing to see the different way that you could have worked that would have actually helped you achieve more but do less. It would have been there all the time. but you would have not been able to see it because your programming was actually focused on what was broken, wrong, or missing. And when it's focused on that, you will continue to find what's broken, wrong, or missing. So, how we do that is we actually understand what is holding us back. Whether we find a coach, whether we find a mentor, a team, something that will help us identify what is actually keeping us back, some of that pre programming. And then we work on actually programming it for our success so we can use our brain for us, not against us. What would it be like if you didn't even have to think about things like that anymore? You automatically woke up, you were empowered, you were ready to work out, you were ready to do those actions, you were ready to connect with your family, you were ready to like be the business owner that you needed to be and make an impact in somebody's life. And that just happened on autopilot. That, my friends, would be focus number one. We focus on the things we can control, which is understanding how our subconscious mind works and getting to the root of those problems.
Yeah. And I think about it where, the like habits, right? Because
Mhm.
we are creatures of habit. And I mean, our brains function like that because there's repetition, right? So we brush our teeth without even thinking about it, right? What would it be like if we actually had those types of habits and things that we would think about when it comes to our business or our family or our health, where it was just automatic, right? That's kind of what we're talking about when it comes to the subconscious mind. We're creating these new patterns of thought so that way it doesn't feel so hard.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. Okay. So that is focus number one, is reprogramming your subconscious mind. Let's move on to focus number two. All right. Once you get good or start to reprogram your mind, by the way, it takes a while. This is not something that you're going to hear Mark's training today and instantly you're going to be like, I'm good to go. Like I'm like Yoda. I can literally, I can coach myself through anything. I mean, I literally wrote my book, Mastering Your Life Through Self-Coaching, which I was supposed to bring a copy here to share with them. I literally wrote that book with the intention of teaching people how to coach themselves. Even though I know everything that we're talking about today, I still get into that rut of going down the wrong path of what's called my head voice, the things that are focused on what's broken, wrong, or missing. That's why I have a team or a person or a group or a coach or somebody. I happen to be married to a beautiful one right here who can help coach me through those specific things because it's very hard to be able to coach yourself through all of that stuff. Now, focus number two is once we have that piece in place around we're going to be focusing on our subconscious mind and reprogramming it, then we have to figure out what the right tactics are, right? This is where everybody rushes to. They rush to the tactics. Mark, how did you lose 100 pounds? Mark, how did you grow a multiple six-figure business? Mark, how did you get yourself to retire early? We all want to rush to the tactics. Now, they're important. I teach a lot of tactics to a lot of people. But if you don't have the right frame of mind, if you're not approaching it from the right direction, it's very easy for these tactics to overwhelm you, to overload you, and then you to believe that it's not possible for you because they're not working. I was teaching today in our life coach certification, and I was talking to somebody about what's called unaligned actions, which means when you are just like, I've got to do this thing because this person told me to do it, or I have to, your energy that you bring into that thing is like, I've got to do the bare minimum and just get it done. But I said, what's the difference between that versus you're about to get on a call with someone, you're like, I'm about to change their life forever. Like they're struggling right now, and I'm going to share something that's going to be able to unlock something in their brain that is literally going to be an aha moment that they're going to be able to share with their kids and potentially change like their generation forever. And being able to tap into that of like, I'm actually going to change this person's life. The energy that you have in that situation is way different, and it gives the tactics that you're using the best opportunity to work. So I want to make sure that we always keep our subconscious in like on the limelight, but also when we move into the right tactics, we want to make sure that when we're trying to find the right tactics for us, that we're leading with that energy. Because if you tried things in the past and they haven't worked, but your energy has been off, it doesn't pretend like you've never tried them before, because you have to try it with that level of energy. Now, once you have that level of energy and you're moving on to focus number two of the right tactics, we have to really think about what are some of the things that you excel at? What are some of your strengths? What are some of your weaknesses? What are things that you do exceptionally well? What do people come to you and say, I really need help with this? And you're like, really? Like that's super easy. But like so many other people are struggling with it. That is what we want to tap into. I've been working with a lot of one-on-one clients right now who don't love social media, which by the way, probably why I attracted them, because I kind of don't like social media, which is why I love YouTube so much. It's a different version of social media. But they're like, Mark, I don't want to send thousands of messages on social media. Like that is just not working for me. But see, the pre-programming in their subconscious mind was like, everybody's doing it, so I have to do it in order to succeed. And I'm like, ugh, my friend, you do not have to do that. As a matter of fact, when you do it and you force it, your energy's crap. You're not going to attract the right people. And what's crazy is when I gave them permission, which you don't need permission, but sometimes it feels good, right? I gave them permission to find a different way. They started doing different things. They started giving presentations like at their Chamber of Commerce. They started doing like live trainings. They started speaking on stage. And then before you know it, they're getting clients. They're making a good income. They're like having all of these things work out. And I'm like, you are trying to force it because everyone else has told you to do that. But I had a mentor that told me once, he says, there's never one right, best, only way. There's your way. And as long as you're doing it with the right energy, you're going to find out, does it work or does it not? And if it works, awesome, lean into it. And if it doesn't, it has nothing to do with you and your potential or anybody else and their potential. It's just not your cup of tea. Let's jump in and let's find something else. So that's why focus number 2 is finding those right things by thinking about the strengths that you have and how you can communicate that. I mean, for you guys all know this. Well, actually, probably not all of you guys know this. But I'm not a strong writer. All right. I wrote my book and then I gave it to Teresa and she's like, why is there 72 million commas in here? And why isn't there any periods with some capital letters? And then I actually had to get it outsourced. And I had the person basically, I don't want to say rewrite it because it's still my content, but like make it like so that it sounded like it was written in English. And here's the thing. If I had used my ability of writing to attract clients, none of you guys would be here. I hate to break it to you, but like when it comes to like me, like people love my energy. They like to hear me on video or on audio. They love to get coached by me. They like me to like really get them to ask them a few different questions to see things differently. And I love doing that. And I feel like that is in my strength zone, right? And being able to tap into my strength zone, not only do I love do it, but I love to do it, but I show up on an entirely different energy. Like even before this, like just really thinking about getting an opportunity today to speak to you guys is one of the greatest like gifts that you can give me. And I appreciate you so much for that. And I'm not going to take it for granted. So I'm going to do whatever I can to over deliver. And that's really getting into that energy, but also like my strengths instead of trying to do what everyone else does. A lot of you guys know that Josh Coates was, and it still is, my mentor. But if I were to do everything like him, I would be a watered down version of him. Mm-hmm. And like he says, like, why would I want to settle for that when the first rate version of me is always available? And people connect with me because of my energy, my history of being a police sergeant for 20 years, the history that I have with autoimmune disease, like all of these kind of things that he can't ever talk about. But if I try to be him, I don't get to bring that up. Right. So there's so many things that like when you think about the grand scheme of things, there's so many things that you can try. But when you think about like based off of your strength zone, it really solidifies it into just like enough, a handful. So it doesn't feel like there's a million different ways. Mm-hmm. So tapping into that, thinking about number 1 is how can I continue to reprogram my subconscious or figure out why I'm actually doing the things that I'm doing. But also number 2, I have to be open like this like it's a science experiment, trying things that see if they work for me or if they don't based off of my own strengths.
I love that.
All right. Can I give you a little bit of an analogy related to this? Because a lot of you guys I know have either worked on your health and fitness or your health and fitness coaches. And I love to give analogies related to this, right? So when you think about like the actions that you took, right? So one of the things that people ask me is like, Mark, what did you do to lose 100 pounds? And if I was just focused on there's one right, best, only way, I would say, okay, so I was 100 pounds overweight. I did P90X, then I did Insanity, then I did this, and then this, and then this, and I drank this. And if the person I'm talking to is, I don't know, 200 or 300 pounds overweight, do you think that's the best action for them to take or the best guidance for me to give? Or would it be better for me to go, oh, well, what are your goals? What do you like? What do you dislike? What are some things you've tried before? What hasn't worked? What do you absolutely not want to do? And by doing that, I can actually help them come to the conclusion of what's going to be best for them rather than what everybody does right now. You got to do this for your business. You got to be doing reels. You got to be doing, that's kind of what the whole world is doing to all of the business owners out there and not allowing them to think based off of their strengths and where they personally are. That's why just thinking there's one right, best, only way is never going to help. And when you think about that related to your health, it's like, Well, no, duh. Like the things that I like and dislike and the things that I used to help me lose weight are going to be different than what Teresa did or what somebody else did. And it's really about finding those things that work best for you and making sure that you're tapping into that energy. All right. Anything on that?
No.
Okay. And let's go into focus number 3. Okay. Focus number 3 is what brings this all together. And you're welcome, Tina. Tina says, thank you for this reminder. I needed it. Focus number 3 is what brings the first 2 together. All right. It's literally the reason why you're here, why you're potentially even still watching this call, not potentially why you are still watching this call. Because if you're not, you didn't hear me just say that. Right. And that is to find your tribe. Ed Milet says that the greatest, most powerful thing on the planet is that we become consistent and congruent with the expectations of our peer group. Then we have, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. All of these gurus talk about who are you in the room with. The reason why is because who you're with and spend the most time with is contagious to the actions and the beliefs and all of the things that we talked about earlier. If you are somebody who's hanging out, for me, when I was a police officer, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to create a business, but yet I was hanging out with police officers who didn't value that, also didn't value family as much as me, and also didn't value health. It was very easy for me to continue to go down that path. But the opposite is true too, is when you find people who share similar values and goals, and they're going out there making sure that they are aware of the subconscious mind and what's actually, preventing them from taking action, trying all the things and being willing to come in and share all of those things with you, but they have a positive energy around it. It's not a bunch of negativity or this isn't working or, oh, woe is me, because that is also very easy. When people start, talking about and go to the water cooler and start gossiping, how easy is it for you to continue to do that too? It's because our natural inclination as a human is the people that we surround ourselves with, we want to fit in with. Okay. So what I would love for you to do is find a way to use it for you, not against you. A lot of times we will be hanging out in the wrong group, wondering why we're not actually getting results. We want to be able to achieve X, Y, and Z. I also want to challenge you on this. How many of the people that you hang around with struggle with the same thing that you do? Think about that for a second. Why? What do you think would be different if you hung out with people who excelled in the area that you actually want to excel in, and maybe they struggle in the area that you excelled in? Well, that means you both would be lifting each other up. When you're in a group where the same people struggle with the same thing and you don't have anybody else to give you that guidance, it's very easy to stay trapped. Because when you hear somebody else say something, you're like, yeah, that's right. That's me too. And it's very easy to get into that spiral, which is why you have to be very specific about the tribe and the room that you step into. This is also why, for me personally, I joined Josh Coates long time ago, where I wanted to get into the room, which, by the way, I did not feel like I belonged, which for me, it exactly means that I'm exactly where I need to be. When I feel like I'm stepping into a room where I belong, I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I'm wasting time. I'm wasting energy of mine and everybody else here. And so when I step into that room, I know that it's going to get me to level up, because there's no other way for me to I have to feel like, hey, I'm a part of this group. And so when I step in there, I not only do I take different actions, but I have different thoughts and beliefs. But it's the same thing that I did when I wanted to become a better father and a better husband, is I joined the Dad Edge Mastermind, which I'm so lucky to actually be teaching on. Some of you guys might actually be from there. Having an opportunity to join that and make it just a part of my everyday life to the point where I can actually teach in there is one of the huge blessings that I got. But it's because I struggled with it and I found people who didn't struggle with it. It's also the reason why I joined certain YouTube communities, different things where I'm like, I want to become the best in the world. So how do I surround myself with the best in the world? And maybe it's not people who have exactly what I want to have, but I'm finding my tribe of people who are going to get me to step up, see things differently, and not just be like whoever just happens to be around or anybody that was my friend. Now, I'm not saying that you need to eliminate or anything, any people like that, even though that could be. I know I have. But it's you being very specific around who you are spending the most time around. If you notice that you've been negative, who have you been spending the most time with? If you notice that it's like, I don't know what to do next, who have you been spending the most time with? Because if you're in a room where everybody is just not only the actions, but their beliefs on an entirely different level, you're never going to run out of things to do. You're probably going to be the opposite, where you're like, man, I don't know which one to do. I'm going to pick this one first, right? Because you're in that kind of environment. Now, this is literally why we love and really believe in our inner circle, because that is the environment that we have created for you guys. So if you're somebody who is, Joe just joined the inner circle. Welcome, Joe. If you're somebody who is interested in having this sort of environment, would it be okay if we spent the next few minutes talking about our inner circle program? Now, here's the thing. We have programs out there where we take one-on-ones, we do small groups, and they range for anywhere between $700 to $1,500 a month. And that's where we get to take these three things and personalize it for people in that group or people in the inside of our one-on-ones. But here's the thing. Not everybody's ready for that. Maybe some people just want to get started and maybe they can't afford it, or maybe they're just in a place right now where they can't take on something like that. And so Teresa and I have really been thinking about what we can do to actually help out as many people as possible, especially those who are trying to juggle it all, so that they have a community that they know is their right tribe. Not only a community, but a community of powerful entrepreneurs, a lot of coaches, people who understand the subconscious mind, and people who are out there trying things, not theoretically thinking about the things they can try, but literally leaning in, taking action, and bringing it back to the group and sharing it with them. That is what we do inside of our inner circle. Now, to give you an idea of what the inner circle is, I want to share some of the different things that we talk about and some of the things that we do in there. All right. Now, the inner circle is a community of like-minded, family-driven entrepreneurs to partner and network with, so you can get outside perspectives and have a place where you feel like you belong, which is definitely something that I absolutely needed back when I was a police officer trying to leave my job, is because I was surrounding myself with people who weren't like-minded. Now, what we do inside of the inner circle is we have 2 live workshops a month specifically for you to develop the confidence and skills that you know to need to grow a business you love, connect with your family on a deeper level, and get into the best shape of your life. Now, we do those biweekly calls here on YouTube, where we really, and you're going to hear about what we're actually going to be doing for the next call next weekend, but where we have an opportunity of getting feedback from you guys and seeing how best we can help support the community. You know, being really into personal growth for like the last 15 years, I personally have read, I don't know, 500, 600 different books, attended, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 different courses, masterminds, all of these kind of things. And I like to bring not just pure information, but things that the people inside of the inner circle need the most. And so that's how we figure out what to teach inside of the program, is based off of the feedback that we get from you guys. Now, we also have 2 optional workshops that we do in between those biweekly, 2 times a month calls, where we actually have full open, everybody can join YouTube videos here. So you can invite people, whether it's from your family, people from your social media, anything, so that you can get support, but also so they can get support too. Now, these are a little bit like lower level, kind of like topics that we talk about inside of the every other week trainings that we do here on YouTube. But for the inner circle, it's twice a month where we go a little bit deeper of a dive and we actually help cater it to what you're specifically going through. What we also do is we actually answer your questions live. So once a month, what Teresa and I usually do is we come in here and we talk about things that maybe potentially people are struggling with that they want to overcome, or things that maybe they haven't been either had the time or been brave enough to actually, or they had the courage to come and ask us questions that have really been on their mind for a while. And so we create that kind of space inside of the community so we can help personalize those questions. And then we actually have opportunities. You guys may have seen Tiffany last week, where we actually want to share our stage with you. So we know that you guys are really powerful business owners, and we know that what you do is what the world needs. And so when we have an opportunity, we want you guys to get on the stage too. We want to have you on the YouTube channel. So our 150,000 plus followers that we have, 3,000 plus people inside of our private app, all get to experience what you have to offer and potentially even work with you if that's something that you would like to actually offer, because we will 100% let you talk about it on the call. This is what we do for our inner circle people. We give them access to our people, not only inside of our app, but here on YouTube. This inner circle is how we focus on sharing coaching philosophies that will help you start to reprogram your subconscious mind. Really, it's about the awareness of identifying what's actually holding you back. Strategy sessions where we can help you in this kind of like atmosphere. It's not the same as working one-on-one, but being able to have things to team to bounce things off of, and being able to get on live with us and be able to bounce things off of is the next best option to that. And number 3 is having a tribe of people to hold you accountable. One of the things we do is at the end of our inner circle call, we ask people who are on the call, what can they commit to actually taking action on after they get off this call and to post in the app so they can be held accountable to it. That's one thing I didn't talk about is what's included is we actually have an app that is going to be a part of the inner circle. And this is where we have 3,000 plus entrepreneurs who are family driven, who are out there crushing it, and they're there to help give you guidance and direction and so many other resources. Things including like the 75 Hard program that we have inside of there, a free book club that we have inside of there. There's so many different ways of connecting with people. Not that you have to do it all. I don't want you to think you do, but I want you to have resources. So if you need help, you have a one-stop shop to go. So talked about biweekly calls. In between calls, we have the YouTube lives for everyone that's open to everyone. So at least you can have a weekly call if that's something you're interested in. Access to our app and the 3,000 plus entrepreneurs. And priority access to videos. So some of we haven't really talked about that, but when you become a part of the inner circle, what you do is you get access to some of the videos that Teresa and I release early. So Kurt, who's on here, who's behind the scenes, who's handling like all this stuff to make us look like we know what we're doing. He's here to like really help support all of us and with all the behind the scenes operations. And he puts up the videos that we do. He does all the editing. I don't do any of that. I'm not good at that. I'm gonna leave that to him. And we actually grant you access early to those and answer your questions on any of the videos that we have first. Now, here's the thing. You might get to this point and be wondering like how much the investment is. And I honestly like to get to this point, like this is my favorite part of all. I told you before that normally we charge between $700 to $1,500 a month in our one-on-one programs and our success pod. And I do have to say that if you want some additional personalized, like actual help through these three things, those are extremely powerful. But if you're somebody who just wants to get started right now, you want to make sure that you're in the right community, we have actually opened this up for $10 a month. Yes. So because we can do this on YouTube and inside of our app, it doesn't cost us really anything other than our time and our energy coming here and wanting to over deliver for you every single month. So when you join, you get to be for $10 a month, you get to have access to all of the things that we talked about and have not only the app, but also the group calls that we have here on YouTube. Now, once a quarter, we also get on Zoom so that we can have more conversations and have deeper conversations, but also hear about some different strategies that are really working for other people that maybe you can try too, including what we're doing as a bonus if you are somebody who signs up before this weekend. So we already have a couple of people who signed up. But if you sign up before Sunday, we want to offer you two bonuses. Yes, I know it's $10. And why are you offering bonuses is because we really want to do whatever we can to get you started as quickly as possible. Is number one is I'm going to send you a signed copy of my book for free. My book is usually $10 on Amazon. I'm going to send it to you for free. And number two is we are actually creating a very specific workshop that's going to be next Saturday for anybody who joins before Saturday or before this Sunday is over, so that you can actually get some personalized advice, not only when it comes to like the goals and how you are going to be able to achieve success in the areas that you want to be able to achieve, but we're actually going to help you come up with a business/personal growth plan that will work. This is something that we love doing so much, not only having read all the books that we have and having, really become a part, like I guess personal development, like I don't know, like groupies, like literally we read and listen to as many things as we possibly can, that we want to help you when it comes to the path that it takes in order to be able to achieve that success. So our first inner circle call, which will be next weekend, you will be granted access to that. And yes, if you're a part of the inner circle, you 100% will already be invited. I know I see Tina and Michael and Laura who are already here. But 100% being able to lean into that, to be able to identify the path for you to be able to achieve that. And also what you truly want is going to be a part of that inner circle package as long as you sign up before Sunday. Now, here's the thing. Right now, it's $10. That price is going to change. But I want to tell you that if you sign up now, you will be grandfathered at that price for however long it is that we actually keep the inner circle together. Now, if you're somebody who's like, well, how long do I have to commit to it? Like, this is not one of those things. We're not like, oh, you have to commit to this and you have to stay in here for an entire year. This is not one of those things at all. It is you can join. If it's not something you find to be helpful, after a full month, 100% you can 100% cancel. No issues at all. Thanks, Joe. Joe says, love Mark's training in the Dad Edge Mastermind. I appreciate it, man. And I love you, like the energy that you always bring to those calls. And the reason why I call on you all the time, Joe, is because of not only the action that you put into this, but also the thought and how when you go in on something, you go all in. And I'm super proud of you, man. really wish that everybody could take some of the pages from your book and they literally would go out and change their life. Aaron says, welcome to the inner circle, Joe. And Ed says, I love that personal development groupies. I resemble that. 100%, Ed, 100%. So I think that's it. Anything else come up?
Yeah, I just have to say that this third piece that we talked about, like community, is really often underutilized. People don't understand the power of community and surrounding yourself with the right people. And I mean the right people as far as like what your goals are and what you value. And people think that, I just need to do this by myself, or, maybe they're just used to just being solo. But there's so much power in community. Like I'm a part of other communities as well, because there's always these different groups of people that can bring out the best in you. So I feel like sometimes that the community piece is really underutilized, but it's so powerful.
100%, 100%. And that kind of like brings up something I want to share with you guys. And I know we talked about this being $10, but I want you to hold off on a second before deciding to join or not. All right. Because we don't like, this is not a charity. We don't want just people to pay $10 and not to show up to the calls, because your life won't change until you change something you do every single day, right? Like J-Max says. But there's 3 things that I'm going to tell you that I require you to do if you're going to be a part of this group. And I want you to know this before you actually sign up. Joe, it's a little bit too late, so you have to do these. All right. Number 1 is, when you come into a call, you need to implement things quickly. So when you hear ideas and strategies, whether we're talking about like reframing mindset, or we're talking about tactics, or we're talking about like community or whatever, when we get to the end of the call, we're going to ask you a powerful question about how can you implement this, or what can you implement and commit to implementing moving forward starting today. You need to implement quickly. The quickly you implement, the quicker you're going to find out if it works, or if it doesn't work, bring it back to us so we can help you out. If you're the kind of person who sits in the back of the room and you're not going to make any of these calls, we don't want your $10. Please don't sign up, because that is not what we want. We want somebody who's committed, who's going to take massive action and get massive results. Number 2 is you have to be willing to, like what Teresa said, raise your hand and ask for help when you need it. If you're also the kind of person where you don't raise your hand when you need help, and then you're like, well, nobody's helping me, this is not the group for you. We are here to help, but we need you to raise your hand and go, hey, I'm looking for some ideas around this. Hey, I've tried this and this doesn't work. Hey, does anybody have any other strategies related to this? That is what it's like to be in a part of a powerful community. And we can have 3,000 of the best people on the planet. If nobody's asking questions and nobody's raising their hand that they need some help, it's all for naught, right? So you have to be willing to raise your hand and ask for help. And the third thing that I require you to share your lessons and wins along the way. This isn't just obviously a one-way street where you go in there and ask for stuff. You go in there and also share your wisdom and your knowledge. We have so many different people like Tiffany and Julie. I mean, we have so many different really powerful people who are in there giving advice and direction because they've taken some action. They've actually seen what's worked and what hasn't worked and come in there and they're willing to support people. And we would love you to be the same, meaning I don't want you to spend 30 minutes in the app every single day. Please don't do that. Get into the actions that are actually moving the needle. But jumping in there and spending 2, 3, 5 minutes a day to help you fuel your mindset, to help you fuel ideas, give to the community. Because when you give, think about how you feel when you show up and you give. It's an incredible feeling, and it doesn't just help that other person. It also helps you too. So those are 3 things that we require to be a part of the inner circle. You have to be willing to implement quickly. You have to ask for help when you need it. And you have to be willing to share your wins and lessons, meaning when you didn't do it right the first time and you tried a different way and it worked, share that with the team. Now, here's the thing. I want to let you know that Teresa, our entire team, 1,000 believe in your potential to achieve success in all areas of your life, regardless if you join us or not. I'm serious. I know that you, somebody who's a leader like you, willing to get uncomfortable, you're going to be able to find a way. We just want to offer our help and our coattails to help speed up that process so that you don't have to go through all the pain that we did of having to struggle through this for decades, wondering why we weren't being able to achieve success. And a lot of it had to do with the community that we weren't in, not understanding how our subconscious mind works, and not being willing to try things with the energy that we needed to see if they were going to work. So if that is something that connects with you, we would love to have you in the group. But if not, that does not mean anything about your potential. Your potential is limitless, my friend. So with that in mind, I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys for being here. Please lean in, whether it's being a part of this community or to a different community, because that really is the speed hack that will help you forever. Thank you for what you do out there every single day, not just from the time that people are watching you, but also for the things that you're doing that nobody even knows that you're doing. I appreciate you for that. It's what the world needs now more than ever. Thank you for doing that, and continue to lead from the front. And we'll see some of you guys on the Inner Circle call next weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye.